A freak car accident once left Hugo, the undisputed king of costume dramas, bedridden in a hospital ward. It was during those long, quiet hours that he truly began to grapple with the profound questions of life and death. In a strange twist of fate, his role as Mei Alliance in the massive hit Nirvana in Fire, a character who literally rises from the ashes of destruction, ended up mirroring his real-life journey in a way no one could have predicted. On-screen, Mei Alliance dismantled the political landscape of the Tang dynasty. Off-screen, Hugo was busy setting a new gold standard for leading men in Chinese period dramas. His magnetic, soulful performance didn't just cement his status as an A-lister, it turned him into an icon who perfectly bridged the gap between raw talent and massive star power. Fast forward to today, and the man behind the chief of the Mei Alliance has embraced a new role as a husband and father to a son and a daughter, a combination that, in Chinese culture, is called Hao, meaning perfection. But just as he seemed to find peace, the entertainment industry was rocked by dark whispers of sacrificial rituals, leaving fans terrified for Hu Jie's safety. Faced with these wild rumors circulating in the underworld of showbiz, can the real-life Mei Alliance outmaneuver the shadows once again? And what does the ancient Qimen Dunjia prophecy reveal about the fate that lies ahead for him? Hey guys, Sean here and welcome back. Today, we're peeling back the curtain on the darker side of Hu Gei's life. From the near-fatal accident that almost took everything, to the chilling rumors of sacrificial rituals that are now threatening his safety. Is his drastic physical transformation actually a cryptic code for survival? And what does the ancient Qimen Dunjia prophecy tell us about the destiny of the leader of the Mei Alliance? Let's dive in, because you never know how deep this hole goes.
When we talk about Hu Gei's charismatic looks, our minds immediately fly back to Li Xiaoyao in Legend of Sword and Fairy. This honest, kind-hearted character with a fierce sense of justice became the ultimate first love, the white moonlight etched into our collective youth. His journey from a simple waiter in a fishing village to an unrivaled warrior, from a boy who knew nothing of love to a selfless hero, truly ignited the spirit of an entire generation. In 2005, at just 23, Huga skyrocketed to icon status through this role. His blend of ruggedness and vulnerability earned him the title of the nation's heartthrob. With his striking features and eyes that seemed to tell 1,000 stories, the label of the handsomest man in period dramas has stuck with him ever since. Back then, the scripts were piling up faster than he could count. He was the ace in the hole, the secret recipe for a guaranteed hit in any period drama. To a struggling extra, the Hengdian studios might look like a gold mine, a place to chase your dreams. But for a superstar at the peak of his game like him, that place was nothing more than a golden cage, sparkling on the outside, but incredibly suffocating on the inside. That was exactly what Hu Gei was feeling. On one hand, the fame and money had him in a tight grip, but on the other, it left him spiraling into a deep identity crisis. Every time the makeup artists finished perfecting his face, he'd find himself staring at a stranger in the mirror. He started questioning himself, am I actually a real actor? Or just eye candy used to reel in the fans? The period drama star label eventually became a heavy burden on his mind. In an industry that only worships instant traffic and fleeting fame, being an idol might pay well at first. But there's a danger lurking beneath. You'll expire fast and get kicked out of the market. Hu Gei knew all too well that if he didn't break out of his comfort zone and shatter his old image, he'd eventually hit a brick wall. He was left with two choices. Either be replaced by a newer, younger Li Xiaoyao, or be discarded by the industry altogether. Right at that crossroads, a completely unexpected car accident struck, splitting his life into two entirely different worlds. On the 29th of August 2006, in the middle of filming The Legend of the Condor Heroes, he was involved in a horrific car crash on his way back to Shanghai. His assistant was killed instantly at the scene. Meanwhile, he was rushed to the hospital for emergency surgery under general anesthesia. Reports say that for his right eye alone, he had to receive over 100 stitches. His stunning looks, which were rumored to be worth hundreds of billions in the industry, were shattered in an instant, leaving permanent scars on his face. This was truly the rock bottom of his life. He had to wear a heavy steel face shield, listening to the sound of medicinal fluids seeping into his skin, enduring such intense pain that he couldn't sleep through the night. But compared to the physical agony, something else was far more soul-crushing. The moment he heard the news of his assistant's passing, the sound of his own tears hitting the floor became a sound he'd never forget for the rest of his life. Fear and despair crashed over him like a tidal wave, completely drowning his soul. Furthermore, the sight of his almost unrecognizable face brought a sense of absolute ruin. It left him hopeless, convinced he could never return to the acting world. At the time, he was just a young man in his 20s, lying helpless in a hospital bed. There, he truly began to contemplate the meaning of life and death. He said, "Before, all I could think about was being famous, how to get more roles, and make as much money as possible. But this accident made me realize just how fragile life really is. I realized there's no point in wasting any more time playing characters I don't actually care about." During his recovery, he cut his hair short and intentionally showed off the scars on his forehead. Staring into the mirror, he seemed to declare to the world, "From now on, I'm done relying on my face to make a living. I'm going to prove everything through the quality of my acting." Those words served as a firm declaration that he had truly said goodbye to his former self. It emphasized that he was mentally and physically ready to leave his pretty boy image behind and be reborn as a serious character actor. Due to his injuries, the production of The Legend of the Condor Heroes was forced into a hiatus, leading to the expiration of the novel's copyright. Upon hearing this, the late Jin Yong, the original author, agreed to extend the contract for free. He even sent a special message of encouragement to Hoog. "After surviving a great ordeal, great success awaits. Keep fighting, stay sincere, and become someone extraordinary." This life and death tragedy left permanent scars on his face, but at the same time, it carved one word deep into his heart: respect. From then on, he held a profound respect for life. The idol, who might have once been a bit arrogant and impulsive, transformed into a much calmer and humbler individual. He didn't rush back to the chaotic film sets in Hengdian. Instead, he chose to immerse himself in the world of theater, sharpening his mind and acting craft on the stage. For him, this entire process was a spiritual journey, a form of artistic penance. Unknowingly, this spiritual journey lasted for 8 long years. During that time, he completely dedicated himself to the theater stage. During those years, Hu Ge performed in a total of 378 shows. Through the purest form of acting on the theater stage, he seemed to fight against the market trends that only worshipped instant popularity. At that point, he truly understood that an actor's true value lies not in the beauty of his face, but in the soul and life he breathes into every character he plays. For the sake of total immersion, he didn't hesitate to deconstruct his visual image. This choice of words perfectly captures his transition from a handsome idol to a character actor who dared to appear as he was, even if it meant looking dull, old, or disheveled on camera. His once clear skin was intentionally darkened by the sun. Even in the blistering heat of summer, he had to film winter scenes wearing thick, heavy layers. By the end of each day, his entire body would be completely drenched in sweat. He was often so exhausted, he nearly fainted. During an explosion scene, he had to charge through flames, and at one point, his knee was struck by a rock fragment from the blast. Despite the pain being so intense, it broke him into a cold sweat. He pushed himself to finish the entire scene. While filming Three Drops of Blood, he had to perform in extreme weather that chilled him to the bone at -40 degrees. Wearing only thin clothing, he played a desperate father searching for his child. Even as his fingers turned blue from the freezing cold, he didn't cry out for a break. He poured every ounce of his professionalism into bringing that character to life. Huge had finally said a true farewell to his old self. He no longer limited himself to idol dramas and stopped obsessing over the glitz of being the lead. He said, "I'd rather play a supporting character with a soul one that stays with me for a lifetime than be a lead whose character is shallow and boring." 2015 witnessed the explosion of the phenomenal period drama Nirvana in Fire, Long Yabang. Huge's role as the Kirin scholar, Mei Changsu, felt like a true mirror of his own identity. The figure of the chief of the Mei Alliance, reborn from the flames and rising from the ashes, created a magical resonance with Huge's real-life journey. His magnetic and breathtaking performance in this role finally cemented his position as a top-tier actor with world-class talent. Through the character of Mei Changsu, he managed to set a new gold standard for male leads in Chinese period dramas. The bar he set was so high that many actors in similar dramas afterwards found it nearly impossible to match his achievement. In that drama, he appeared with a bare face, no makeup, shrouded in a white robe, yet carrying 1,000 strategies and schemes within his mind. And when he departs, he gazes far toward the smoke of battle on the horizon, spurring his horse and swinging his whip with gallant courage. The chief of the Mei Alliance may have shaken the political foundations of the Liang Empire and changed the course of history, but the one thing that remained unshakable was his pure, sincere heart. In real life, the same thing happened. Nowadays, whenever people talk about Huge, there's an almost absolute assumption. Huge is perfection. Yet, every time he hears that word pinned to him, Huge can only shake his head. He seems uneasy, as if he feels unworthy of such high praise. With brutal honesty, he admits, "I am not perfect at all. I only look perfect because that's the image you've all created for me." The life journey Huge has traveled so far has truly been a struggle between life and death. As he said himself, surviving death isn't just about continuing to breathe. It's about clutching tight, the right to choose our own path in life once again. Seeing Huge like that, people have only one prayer and hope for him, that he remains safe and healthy. That is why, when dark rumors of sacrificial rituals surfaced involving his name, everyone immediately felt a deep anxiety for his safety. So, where did these disturbing reports actually come from? In this age of lightning-fast information, many of you likely already know about Deborah's insight. She revealed a chilling message, that the perpetrators behind these dark acts have already set their sights on their next target, and that target is Huge. The moment this revelation came to light, a wave of intense anxiety washed over the fans. Everyone began to fear for his safety, wondering if he could truly protect himself from what's coming. It all started when a recent video surfaced, showing Huge in a very unusual state. His eyes looked tense, restless, and filled with deep anxiety. There was a strange gaze that suggested he had just experienced a terrifying ordeal, leaving him dazed and disoriented, a truly heartbreaking sight for anyone watching. This is the same chief of the Mei Alliance who, now at 43, has just begun a new chapter in his life as a devoted husband and father to his son and daughter. Having both a son and a daughter seemed to complete his perfect life. Yet, amidst that harmony, how could such horrifying rumors emerge, suggesting he might be the next sacrifice? Furthermore, the public began to notice something unsettling. Huge's latest film, Three Drops of Blood, Sandy Shui, was recently released in mainland China. As part of the film's promotion, Huge joined the crew on a press tour to greet fans across various cities. However, the public reaction was unexpected. Netizens were stunned by his appearance. Many asked what happened to the chief of the Mei Alliance. Why does he look like he's aged so drastically? Raw, unedited photos of his face began to circulate widely. When zoomed in, The deep, dense wrinkles on his forehead were unmistakable. His skin appeared sagging, his upper eyelids were drooping, and the dark circles and heavy bags under his eyes were impossible to ignore. The chief of the Mei Alliance should still be in his prime. So, why did he suddenly seem to age overnight? What is really happening behind the scenes? This concern isn't just haunting netizens. Even metaphysicians and fortune tellers are on edge. They've begun pouring all their expertise into dissecting the actor's fate. Let's follow the analysis from metaphysician Lin Han-kun to see if these rumored dark plans will truly come to pass. Metaphysician Lin Han-kun began dissecting Hu Jie's life path using the Qimen Dunjia method, an ancient Chinese divination technique known for its extreme precision and depth. The results revealed a very rare configuration: suppressed positive energy and silenced truths. On the other side, the opposing forces appeared overwhelmingly dominant and threatening. To give you a bit of context, what exactly does a Qimen Dunjia configuration mean? In the world of ancient Chinese metaphysics, this is considered one of the highest forms of predictive arts. Its scope is vast, covering everything from astronomy and history to military strategy. Legendary figures like Zhang Zia, Zhang Liang, and even Zhuge Liang were grand masters of this craft. Returning to Lin Han-kun's analysis, the moment he saw the results, he froze and took a sharp, deep breath. The entire energy field projected an atmosphere where someone is being targeted, restricted, suppressed, and forced into silence. This indicates that the chief of the Mei Alliance may have crossed a forbidden red line, leading to intense pressure from authorities, massive institutions, or powerful conglomerates. Looking at Hu Jie's Qimen formation, his own persona is highly positive, someone responsible and brave enough to speak the truth. However, the opposition's position shows a dominant force. This means his courage to speak out has been crushed by dark forces represented by influential figures. His mental state is now under threat, while the opposition uses dirty tactics and systematic traps to bring him down. Rumors had already been swirling online that following the tragedy involving Menglong, Hu Jie supposedly spoke out to defend the late actor. But shortly after, something happened behind the scenes. His public appearances changed drastically. He looked incredibly uneasy. Every time he walked, he'd constantly glance left and right, as if watching for something he deeply feared. Many suspect he has received serious threats from a powerful entity. As for what actually happened, he has never uttered a word. The outside world can only try to piece together the puzzle, speculating based on the shifts in his behavior and body language. We all remember Hu Jie's appearance early in his career. He was the ultimate pretty boy heartthrob. But that tragic accident completely changed his life, molding him into one of the most self-aware and grounded figures in the Chinese entertainment industry. He transformed from a clean-cut youth into a masculine man with a rugged beard. His journey from an idol to a high-caliber character actor was encapsulated in a remark he once made half-jokingly. "If I hadn't transformed myself sooner, I might have lost my life." Is the transformation he meant simply a change in image from a charming young man to a rugged, bearded adult? Speculation has arisen that this was his way of escaping the radar of big players or influential figures in the industry who have deviant interests. Of course, this is just outside speculation. As for the real reason why Hu Jie called this transformation a means of survival, only the chief of the Mei Alliance himself holds the key. Let's return to dissecting this Qimen Dunjia formation. Lin Han-kun reveals that the adversary Hu Jie faces isn't just a single individual, but a massive collective, a high-level network wielding both administrative power and widespread influence across multiple sectors. This group has the capacity to execute top-down orders across regions, orchestrate systematic traps, and maintains absolute control to censor and silence public opinion. They launch attacks through psychological pressure and total public boycotts as a form of intimidation. Not only that, Hu Jie is being constantly disciplined and given severe warnings. In other words, this isn't just a personal spat. It's an effort by systemic forces who don't want him speaking out of turn. Now, for the question that worries us all the most, What is the chief of the Mei Alliance's current condition? Has he suffered any physical harm or danger? Through the Qimen analysis, Lin Han-kun discovered that, as of now, there are no signs of serious physical injury or direct physical attacks against him. However, the entire divination configuration is saturated with energies of suppression, tight control, and an immense drain on his mental energy. It is this relentless psychological bombardment that has caused his aura and condition to appear so unnatural. This is because pressure of this magnitude doesn't always come in the form of physical violence. It manifests as constant intimidation, threats, and stern warnings. Moreover, with two very young children to protect, he naturally has to prioritize his family's safety above all else. The metaphysician concludes that while Hu Jie hasn't sustained physical wounds, he has almost certainly undergone a grueling interrogation process. It is suspected he has been tamed through various harsh warnings, which have posed a massive mental threat to him. The expert then shifts to another crucial matter. Is Hu Jie's personal freedom currently being restricted? The visualization appearing in this prophecy is very telling. It depicts a figure under constant surveillance, unable to move freely, and certainly unable to speak his mind. While Hu Jie isn't behind bars, his personal freedom has been partially restricted. Wherever he goes, every step in public activity is under the watchful eye of certain parties. Regarding future threats to Hu Jie, the metaphysician assesses that the situation is still escalating and has yet to reach a conclusion. Although there are benefactors or media colleagues who wish to help, their power is considered insufficient. Furthermore, Hu Jie's current agency is also under pressure from higher-ups, making them too terrified to take any risks. The agency is playing it safe to save themselves. While they may not intend to harm him, they simply cannot withstand the massive pressure from dark forces that seem above the law. In short, they lack the courage to truly protect him. So, what do you think, Tracers? Is the drastic change in the face of the chief of the Mei Alliance purely a matter of age, or is he truly under immense pressure to protect his family? Do you believe there are dark forces actively trying to silence him? Drop your theories and thoughts in the comments below. Let's dive deeper into this discussion. Thanks for tuning in, and if you're still watching this, maybe you're looking for the same thing I am.